90 minutes? No! The manager is fired! Fired! You can't do this! Full time! He's out! The first ever manager sacked at the World Cup. Unprecedented in football history. He's out.
Not once. But if you think Tunisia panicked after one bad night in Mexico, you have absolutely no idea what was already going on inside that camp. Let me walk you through it. Sunday night. Estadio Monterrey, Guadalupe. Tunisia versus Sweden. And it wasn't a game, it was a demolition. Sweden won 5-1. The Tunisian defense looked completely lost. Multiple Swedish players got on the scoresheet. It was one of the heaviest defeats in Tunisia's World Cup history. But the detail that made it truly painful? One of Sweden's scorers, a player who scored twice, has a father born in Tunisia. A man with Tunisian roots, putting the ball past Tunisia at a World Cup. You honestly could not make that up. Afterward, Coach Sabri Lamouchi stood in front of the cameras and said, and I'm paraphrasing here, "We are hurting ourselves." He had no idea just how true that was. Because within 24 hours he was fired. Now on the surface, sacking a coach after one World Cup game looks completely insane. Pure panic. But the moment you look at what was already happening behind the scenes, everything makes sense. Because Lamouchi was not a trusted, respected coach who just had a bad night. In his entire time in charge of Tunisia, he won exactly one match out of 5. His only win came against Haiti. That was the highlight. And the pre-tournament warm-up games going into this World Cup were alarming. Tunisia lost to Austria. Then they got beaten 5-0 by Belgium. 2 prep games. 0 goals scored. 6 conceded. The warning signs were already flashing before the tournament even kicked off. But it wasn't just the results. The atmosphere inside the squad had already broken down. Watch the Sweden game and you can actually see it happening in real time. When Lamouchi substituted a defender off in the second half, that player walked to the bench looking visibly angry at his own manager. On live television, in front of the entire world. When your own players are that openly frustrated with you during a World Cup match, the relationship is finished. And then there's a detail that reportedly made the federation deeply uncomfortable. According to sources close to the camp, Lamouchi had brought a family member into Tunisia's training base during their World Cup preparations. Officials reportedly questioned why someone outside the official delegation had access to the squad environment. Before a single match had been played, the federation and the manager were already at odds. That's the situation this was. The Sweden result didn't create the crisis. It just ended it. Here's where history comes in. Because what Tunisia did has genuinely never happened before. No national team has ever dismissed a manager after just one game at a World Cup. Ever. Coaches have been fired during tournaments before. Tunisia themselves sacked a manager at the 1998 World Cup, but only after 2 games. Spain famously removed their coach days before the 2018 tournament started. But mid-tournament, 1 game in? That's new. That's a World Cup first. Lamouchi will be in the history books for all the wrong reasons. And here's the extra layer that makes this even more remarkable. Lamouchi wasn't even Tunisia's original choice for this tournament. Back in January, they fired their previous coach after the Africa Cup of Nations. Lamouchi was the replacement. He signed a long-term contract. He lasted 5 months. This federation moves fast and they do not look back. So who do you bring in to rescue a squad in the middle of a World Cup with almost no time to prepare? Tunisia went and appointed Hervé Renard. Silver hair, always seen in a white shirt on the touchline. If you follow international football at all, you know the image. And what makes this particularly fascinating is that this is now Renard's 3rd consecutive World Cup, each time with a completely different country. He took Morocco to the 2018 tournament, Saudi Arabia to 2022, and now Tunisia in 2026. At that 2022 World Cup, his Saudi Arabia side produced one of the greatest upsets in the tournament's history, beating Argentina, who went on to win the whole thing in their opening match. If anyone knows how to walk into a chaotic situation and get results quickly, it is this man. That he arrives in Monterrey with almost no preparation time, inheriting a squad whose last manager just got fired, and a group stage that does not get any easier. Tunisia's remaining opponents are Japan and the Netherlands, 2 of the sharper, more organized teams in the tournament. There is no soft landing, no time to settle. Renard has to turn this around immediately. So here's the question. Was this a ruthless, necessary decision by a federation that refuses to accept failure? Or did Tunisia just destroy whatever small chance they had left by throwing everything into chaos at the worst possible moment? Drop your take in the comments. And subscribe, because we are only a few days into this World Cup and it is already swallowing coaches whole. This will not be the last one.